Welcome to another video from 254 Repair. In this one, we're going to go over the charging port replacement of ASUS laptop UX31E. The first thing that we did was to check that the replacement charging port is actually compatible with the charger. And word of advice is if you are buying it online, the UX31E is different from the UX31A. So do not buy the one for the 31A. It doesn't fit. We learned that the hard way. So now we're gonna go ahead and take the back cover of the laptop. We remove all screws from the bottom, and we're gonna go ahead and start removing the logic board. Like I said, we're gonna cover the entire process. So if you wanna get right to the soldering part, you're welcome to fast forward. But we will recommend you to go ahead and watch it all if this is the first time that you're doing this repair. So the first thing that we're gonna do is remove the battery. There's two reasons for it. First, it's safer to work without power, but you can accomplish that by just unplugging the battery. The other reason why we removing the battery is because the connector for the trackpad is actually under the logic board, and it's easier to remove it and reattach it once we remove the battery. So if you're concerned about the resolution or the quality of the video, don't worry. This is just a little part of the video where the camera is off focus, but we made sure that we actually zoom in into the repair as we got into the more detailed parts of it. So let's fast forward this part. We're just gonna go ahead and remove that battery and unplug the keyboard. Once that is done, we're gonna go ahead and zoom in, and there you go. We're gonna go step by step removing the screws from the logic board that need to come out, and from there we'll take you straight to the charging port replacement. After removing a few screws, we're gonna go ahead and remove the LCD connector, and then we're gonna go ahead and follow up with the Wi-Fi antenna cables that are going to the screen. Be very careful removing those. They actually break pretty easy. In this case, obviously, we have no problem, but we seen them before break just because of the way it was handled. So we'll continue. Go ahead and remove. We are going to continue. Sorry, we're gonna go ahead and continue and remove the remaining of the screws. As you can see, they clearly marked. That has a little triangle that tells you where they're at. The one that is a little bit hidden is under the SSD. So if you got to the part where you are not able to take the logic board out for whatever reason, I'll tell you right now is there's one right under the SSD, and we'll go ahead and show it to you real time. We're not gonna fast forward this part because it's very important for you to pay attention to all the details.
You need to go over there and start familiarizing yourself with a Mongo. A Mongo.
At this point, we're gonna go ahead and remove the screws that secure that fan in order to give us more room and to be able to take out the entire assembly. If you notice that flex cable was actually backwards,
No.
and the reason why is because this is the second time that we actually open the laptop and we work on it. The first time we just put it back together like really quick because we ordered UX31A charging port and we found out that it didn't work. So now the logic board is completely free. Um, there is tape holding down the trackpad connector. So we are gonna go ahead and disconnect it and remove it and make some room because we are getting ready to desolder the charging port. So here we go. We got the charging port right in front of us, and we're gonna go ahead and start using our soldering iron to loosen up the solder and remove the old broken charging port and replace it with a new one. So this process is really long, so we're gonna go ahead and fast forward. Basically, we're gonna go ahead and remove all the solder from the logic board that is securing that charging port, and we're gonna clean it up. We're gonna use a combination of flux paste and obviously heat. We're gonna remove the charging port, and once it is completely removed, we're gonna go ahead and clean up the holes where the new charging port is supposed to go in. Once that is accomplished, and you'll see it in a little bit, once we got all that clean, we are ready to place the new charging port and solder it back in.
Alright, Max, I'm making another Windows 7 64 disk.
Okay.
So now that we got the charging port placed in the logic board, we're gonna go ahead and use pliers to make sure that it's all the way in. Obviously, you're not gonna damage the charging port, and but you do want to make sure that all the prongs, the little posts, are actually all the way in into the logic board so you can get a good solder from the other side. Once that is done, we're going to go ahead and get started with the soldering process. Again, this is a little bit slow and tedious. So in a little bit, we're going to go ahead and start fast forwarding so you are not like watching everything real time, taking forever on YouTube. So we're gonna go ahead and start soldering that port again. And like I said, this is tedious, so we're gonna go ahead and fast forward it. Once we are done soldering the new charging port in place, we are going to make some room and put the the laptop back in place and start reconnecting everything on the logic board. Is we're gonna reverse the process. If you paid attention where everything came from, you probably don't need to watch this. But if you didn't, or if you have any doubts, go ahead and finish it. Main point right here is this trackpad connector. You want to make sure that you put it in first and that you put tape on it so it doesn't come apart when you are um,
Oh, so back on the subject
flipping
of
this
these discs
logic
you
board
looking at
over
there,
and
I bet
continue
you it's more
with the
viable for your
assembly.
computer now.
So now we're ready. So let's fast forward this part. Basically, we're gonna put everything back together. Don't worry, we're gonna zoom in so you can actually see it with detail. Um, the first thing that you're gonna put in is that screw under the SD card. Once that is done, we're gonna go ahead and continue putting the screws that hold down the fan and the rest of the logic board. Once that is done, we make sure all the connectors are in place. The keyboard connector, which is the one I'm putting in right now. Now we're gonna go ahead and connect the rest of the peripherals and the Wi-Fi antenna, LCD connector,
And be careful with that flex cable. Make sure, see how we made the mistake? Well, we turn it around, we put it the right way. Make sure that it's not covering the fan, otherwise it will affect the cooling of the laptop. Battery is in, and now it's time to put the back cover on and all the screws that hold it in place. Please don't forget to give us a like. I hope this video was useful for you. If you can, subscribe to our channel. We usually put out either cell phone or computer repair videos that might help you with whatever problem that you got going on, or help you out with your business if you are a repair shop. Thank you very much, and thank you for watching.